everybody, it's that time again. It's time for Diary of a Physicist Farmgal, and if my setup was any more ratchet, I don't know what I would do. My name is Deborah, and I'm coming to you from here on my farm in the foothills of the Arkansas Ozarks, where I like to do all the crafts. I knit, I sew, I crochet, I make baskets, I make jewelry, I do quilt, I do needlework, and I also do all sorts of oddities art now, apparently. And I am also a university professor. I teach courses to physics majors, and I teach general education courses in physics, astronomy, and meteorology. And I'm a docent at our planetarium. And I am a farmer. I'm a third generation family farm here on my farm in the foothills of the Arkansas Ozarks. My family has lived on this land for at least 3 generations, probably more than that if I could track it back. And I raise grass-fed beef cattle, I raise horses, I have a retirement herd of miniature horses, miniature donkeys, and a miniature mule named Pumpkin who thinks she rules the roost. And as you can tell from my 2 co-hosts here, Willie, who y'all know, Prince Willie, and Baxter, who y'all also know, who is trying to usurp Willie's seat, I am fur kid mom to several dogs and cats. So if any of all of that sounds interesting to you, just join me on Diary of a Physicist Farmgal before Baxter knocks over the camera. If you're looking for me on social media, I am on Ravelry, Instagram, and TikTok as Doc Firewoman. There is also a Facebook group and a Ravelry group for the podcast Diary of a Physicist Farmgal. The Ravelry group has not been very active of late because I have been doing other things. But the Facebook group is there and you can share things. Also, there is a Zoom meetup from time to time that I will post about on Instagram. So follow me on there. I'm going to start trying to do those again now that I have a little bit of downtime. And if you're interested, I am also an author of metaphysical books, and I have an author page and a page for my bone art as well, if that is something that you might find interesting. So I can link all of that, and I'm going to promise I will do that this time. Yeah, so that's how you can find us on social media. And yeah, and I will say this, it is going to become more important to me even more important to me to speak out on things that I think are important. So I'm a progressive, left-leaning Democrat, and if you are just here for the crafting, maybe this is not the podcast for you, because today's catch-up is going to be mostly about things that have been going on during Pride Month around here, a lot of which are good, some have not, but a lot of which are good. And if that is not something that you are interested in, I'm probably not your girl. Those of you who have been with me for a long time, because we've been doing this now for 6 years, that 6-year anniversary just blew right on by and I totally missed it. But we've been doing this now, or 7 years, maybe, so I don't even know. I need to look. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to give you a heads up because I'm not just here for the crafting, and I don't think any of us should be, but that's my opinion. So, anyway, Willie says, stay if you like, go if you need to. It's fine. It's not an airport. You don't need to announce your departure. So, anyway, we're gonna move on. I don't have any knitting finished objects or crocheting finished objects, but I do have a couple of a whip and a future crafting that I will share with you. So that'll be coming up next. Okay, so I have been doing a little bit of knitting, mostly at events. I have been doing a lot of prep of things that I'm making for events, which are bone art and also beadwork and jewelry. I don't have any of that out to show you because I feel like that is for commercial purposes, and I don't feel like I should be doing an infomercial here. But if you're interested in what I'm doing, you can follow my TikTok or you can follow my Stories of the Bones page and see all of that type of stuff. I may do a podcast one day just about my oddities and beadwork. If y'all are interested, you can let me know, but if that's not something that's interesting to people, I don't feel like I should advertise it here. But this is some fiber art that I worked on. Attending events and having to sit around at times to vend gives me a little bit of knitting time, so this is in my utterly adorable Supremes bag. The real Supremes, not that mess we've got in there now. I'm working on my leg warmers. So I got quite a bit of work done on these leg warmers at the last couple of events. The last time you saw these, they were way down here. So these are the squishy stripy leg warmers. They are a free pattern, I believe, on Ravelry. They are a very straightforward knit. They just have this one little cable detail running up the side here on each one. And this is being knit in Brenda and Heather yarns, Ball Yarns, Joe and the Dreamcoats. Y'all, anybody else scared to death about this election coming up? Did they even have a nominating convention? I mean, did they even have a nominating convention for the Republican Party, or are they just letting him, does he just get to do whatever he wants? I mean, I don't understand. But anyway, back to the knitting. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So I've just been knitting. You just go around and around, and I'm knitting these 2 at a time. That's not how the pattern calls to do it, but as we all know, I only like to knit things once. So I was afraid that if I knit them 1 at a time, I would have a leg warmer and never do the other one. So this way, at least the tension is somewhat similar, and I've got the stripes matching up pretty well. So this is my current work in progress that I'm giving a lot of love to. I do have a sweater that I need to put the sleeves in, but it is too dadgum hot to be knitting on a big old bulky weight sweater right now, so no thank you. Also in an utterly adorable knits bag that is covered in cat hair, I have my future project. Oh, here is Sir Pickles the Brave. If y'all have not met Sir Pickles, this thing showed up at my house back in January. He is a snot. He is a snot. He's getting a little more calm, but he terrorized everybody for about the first 6 months he was here. He also knows how to flip the grate covers off of the air ducts, and apparently there is a hole in my ductwork because one of his favorite things to do is go spelunking in the air ducts under the house and then come out somewhere wherever the hole is and scare the crap out of me because I think he's going to get out and get hurt. So he looks very innocent. I assure you that is a lie. Anyway, so this is Sir Pickles the Brave, also known as Big Giant Butthead. Anyway, so this is a future crafting project that I want to do. I want to knit a pair of socks out of either this yarn or this yarn, and I can't decide which yet. I have 2 balls of this. This is some Patron. I wish, right? Wouldn't that be nice? Peyton's Croy. It would be nice if it was some Patron. And then this is some Barocco sock that Shirley gave me, I think. And I want to knit a pair of socks. The socks I want to knit are the Twister socks, which was kindly sent to me, or Tornado Alley socks. So Tornado Alley socks were sent to me by the author of this pattern. It was offered through a sock club that is no longer available on Ravelry, but I did reach out to her, and she was kind enough to send me the pattern. I believe it was a free pattern at the time, so she sent them to me. But I want to try to knit this pair of socks because I thought socks would be something fun to work on at events as well. So I'm probably going to be casting those on. I might be making them slightly bigger for someone we know. And here's Baxter, who has also been being a turkey butt lately and running out the door. He's got his hair chewed off of his butt right now because he gets hot in the summertime and gets itchy, so I have to treat it. But he's trying to be my friend because he ran outside the other night at 11:30 at night after I was coming home from an event, and I had to look for him. So he's trying to be sweet and tell me how much he loves me and make it up to me. Yes, I know, I love you. Anyway, so I might be knitting these for someone else. I don't know yet. We'll see. Maybe I'll start 2 pairs and start just a pair of vanilla socks for the gift, and then make these for myself because I'm kind of a selfish knitter. Anyway, so that is my current fiber art situation. I've got a lot of other things started that it's too hot, y'all. It is so hot already, and it's just now going to be July tomorrow. Anyway, so that's it. So I want to do a little segment of catch up. It's going to be kind of everything all at once, all together. So this is the end of the crafting portion. Kind of short this time. I'm not as prolific since I'm working on stuff to sell. But I have lots of stuff to talk about in the catch up section. So we're just going to do a big amalgamation catch up. Okay, so I don't remember where I was at the last time I talked to y'all, but we'll just start at the beginning of what I would consider the beginning of summer. We had graduation at UCA, and Then the next week, as I was on my way to yoga class, my little white car died. It was only 4 years old or 5 years old, and I think we concluded it blew a head gasket. Now, I can't stand unreliability in many things, including vehicles, and as much traveling as I have had to do for this book, I need something reliable. I had literally just gotten back from Asheville maybe a week before, and it pulled this little stunt. So I just traded vehicles. Now I was upside down on it, so I did take a hit on it, but I found a vehicle that was much more suitable for this life that I'm now living with the vending and traveling and all that stuff. But it was a very stressful, buying a car is just a stressful process at the best of times, and I was already under stress because I had been afraid I was going to be stranded on the side of the interstate. Anyway, so I have a new vehicle, which is nice, except it means my insurance. I don't know what's going on with car insurance in where y'all live, but the car insurance in Arkansas, my insurance has gone up 60%. I have never made a claim on this insurance. I have never done anything with this insurance. I've never had a ticket. The last ticket I had was a ticket that I got in graduate school about 30 years ago, and I didn't know I was speeding. I'm that much of a grandma driver. But my insurance has gone up 30% because of all the uninsured and underinsured motorists, which frustrates the snot out of me, because why am I having to pay? My insurance went up from, now of course I had to carry comprehensive and full coverage on the vehicle because it was new. When I got the Rogue, I was paying on it, so you have to carry full coverage. And same thing with this GMC that I just got. But y'all, my insurance went from $1,200 a year to almost $2,000, or actually over $2,000 a year. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? This was ridiculous. But at any rate, so very frustrating about that. But anyway, so I've got a new vehicle, which is nice. It's something more reliable to drive to these events, because I have been to Florida twice now since the beginning of April, and Asheville, North Carolina, and I'm getting ready to go to Atlanta, and I'm going to be going to Nashville, and then I've driven around a lot just within the state, and then I'm going to Oklahoma City soon for a book signing. So, living that author hustle lifestyle, I guess, if you want to call it that. So there was that. Then, unfortunately, I lost Angel, my oldest horse. She was about almost 30. She was really going downhill. I had been feeding her, and she was losing weight, and I think we concluded that she probably had cancer of some sort, and I could not save her. So I lost her in the last month or so. But on the upside, things are nice and calm here at the farm, which is nice. Now that I have the gas service reestablished, we have not, knock on wood, heard a lot from my unsavory neighbors lately, which is good. I keep hoping every day they move, but hasn't happened yet. But I'm working on it. Putting that out in the universe. They need to move, and Mr. Ray needs to be able to buy that property. But anyway, so summertime is here. We went from reasonable temperatures to sauna in the matter of a couple of days, and it is boiling hot, like dangerously hot. Climate change is real, y'all. If you cannot get on board with that, you need to find another podcast. I'm just going to be straight up with you. It is ridiculous what we have done to this planet. It is ridiculous that we think that it doesn't matter. I don't know what that's about. This is where we live, y'all. This is where we live, and we're tearing it up. But anyway, so enough of that soapbox. We'll move on to another soapbox. So what's been going on locally? We had several things happening in terms of events. We had Harmony in the Hollow, which I think I posted a little bit about. I had Harmony in the Hollow, and Joel and I got to vend together at that event, which was really fun and sweet. We had a really great time. Plus, it was also great to connect with community. A lot of the people that were there were my friend Kay's friends from a group called Anahata's Purpose. Anahata means the heart chakra, and Anahata's Purpose is an event that takes place in Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia, in August, well, beginning of September, and I'm actually going to be a presenter at it. So I'm going to be in Pennsylvania in September doing a presentation for Anahata's. Then I've done several podcast interviews. I don't even know who all. I did one for Homespun Haints. I did one for the Witch Lit podcast, which I don't know if it's out yet. I think it's not coming out for a little bit, but I have recorded the interview. I've done Instagram Live for Amityville Apothecary, and trying to remember who else I have done. Patty Negri's The Witching Hour. I'm going to be on Desperate House Witches in a couple of weeks, so if you're interested in that sort of thing, I'm around all over the place, you know. Put you down. Thank you. So we had Harmony in the Hollow, which was wonderful, and great classes and things. One thing that I will say that frustrates me, and I hope I don't become this way, but we have people who find themselves to be very self-important. And so they call the organizers and they give them a hard time about the schedule, and they say, I want this and I want that. And then they don't show up. And then they don't show up after the organizers have jumped through all these hoops to schedule their event. They don't show up to teach. And that makes me mad at them, because they're not that special. None of us are that special. You should not abuse the event organizers like that. But at any rate, but Harmony was a lot of fun. I got to do, like I said, I got to do it with Joel. We had the full-blown camping set up on Camp Rathanty Hill up there. We've got lots of little video clips and stuff. If you go follow any of my socials, you can see those. Then after Harmony, about 2 weeks later, we headed to Summer Magic Fest in Florida. So I was in Orlando, Florida for Summer Magic Fest, and had really good reception there with people enjoying my talk and my books, and had a couple of people who I really sort of venerate in this community show up for my talk and ask questions. Then I did Llewellyn Con. Some of you, I think, got to watch that. Llewellyn Con was a free online programming done by Llewellyn Publishing, who is my publisher. If you didn't get to see it, they actually have a YouTube channel where they posted all the videos. So it's a wonderful opportunity to see 40 different classes for free. They're about 20 minutes or 30 minutes a piece. And you can go on there and watch everything for free. Big name authors, not including me. I am definitely not a big name author yet, but maybe someday, because I have a contract to do a second book. I am working on a second book. It's going to be similar to the Weather Magic book, and it's going to be about astronomy. So I'm excited about that. Now, then we get into June, and it's Pride Month. So my friend Ruby and I went to Soma Pride. So Soma is a neighborhood in Little Rock. It stands for South Main. So Soma, and she and I had a booth, and I vended my artwork, and she was reading tarot and oracle readings, which was a lot of fun. It was really wonderful to me to see the families that showed up. It was a family-friendly event. It was a huge turnout, and it was really wonderful to see family groups, families, parents and kids, and older people and younger people, and just normal people coming out to support Pride. Normal, whatever normal is. I shouldn't even say that. What is normal? Nobody knows what that is. What is normal to the spider is chaos to the fly. Isn't that how that saying goes? But at any rate, so it was really beautiful to see all the people turn out for Soma Pride. Then we did have Summer Magic Fest, as I mentioned, and then we came back from that, and I vended at the June Enchanted with my boyfriend. He had his vending booth, and then I was able to get my own vending booth, which was nice. But here's what happened. We had protesters. Now, this is the second time I've run into protesters. I taught a weather magic class at the Strange Brew Occult Shop over in Hot Springs, in Fort Smith. Candy owns that shop, and it's a beautiful shop, and I love it, and I was really excited to teach there. Well, these people showed up, and they stood outside with a loudspeaker and were very loud and shouty. Well, they didn't bother us because we had double panes in an old part of town. It was an old jewelry store that had double pane windows, so we couldn't hear them. And all they did was look like idiots. Now, I'm going to say this. I believe that there are good people of every path. I believe Jesus was a good guy, had a lot of good teachings, taught us to love. Love is the most important thing, right? The people that are these protesters are not acting in the spirit of what Jesus taught. They're just not. They're not acting in the spirit of a good Christ-like Christian. But until good Christ-like Christians start showing up and standing with us and shouting these morons with karaoke machines down, they are the public face of your belief. They are the ones that people are going to see and go, ugh. They're not changing anyone's mind. They're not convincing anyone. They are just being a nuisance. They're not acting in good faith. They're not acting on their belief. They're being cruel. They're being mean. They're being hateful. They're literally spitting venom in some cases. So I would like to challenge all people of all faiths to show up and stand with marginalized people when protesters are there spreading hate. Whatever your belief, we need to show up and start being a visible presence to say to these awful, spitting, mean-spirited, ugly, non-Christ-like people, enough. Enough. Until people start standing up to them, not all the marginalized people, that they don't need to do that labor. It needs to be us. It needs to be people who look like them and sound like them, and in some cases believe on paper the same path that they claim to follow. And I'm going to say claim because I don't believe that any of this lot was acting in good faith. Until we start doing that and say enough, they have free reign. They believe that after the 2016 election, they were given carte blanche to act in a way that is cruel, that is inhumane, that is just plain cruddy. And until people start showing up and standing them down and just being a presence. My friend Tamara was telling me that when she lived in California and there would be like a march for some marginalized group, the Quakers would show up and form a silent but very visible wall to protect the marginalized people from the protesters. We need that. We need that. We need that at Pride events. We need that at Black Lives Matter events. We need that at alternative religion events. We need that at women's events and women's rights events. We need people to start showing up and standing and saying, enough. You do not speak for my belief. You are not acting in good faith, and you are not the face of my belief. So, I'm going to start trying to be more of that kind of person myself. Don't engage with them. Unfortunately, Joel tried to engage with one of them, and it did not go well. But we did have a protester. He had his little speaker, and he was out there shouting and screaming and telling us we're all going to the hot place. And just, and then they were trespassing because they left sticky notes on all of our vehicles about what was wrong with us and how we were an abomination and all of that. So, until people of good belief and good faith start showing up, that's the public face. That's what we see. So I challenge everybody to stand up to these people. Not literally, don't go out there and engage with them, because that's what they want. They want you to say something or take a swing at them or they don't, trying to engage with them is a waste of your energy. But just stand there and be a presence because there was plenty of people that did that this last weekend at Enchanted. They just sat out there and were a stoic but solid, energetic barrier for us to be able to come and go from our vehicles in peace. And yeah, anyway, so then rock on. Russellville, Arkansas, the town where I live close to, had its very first Pride event. It was put together in about a week. And me and some friends of mine decided I was voluntold I was going to vend at it. So I did. I showed up with my friend Vicky from Hidden Acres Farm and Kay from Rosemary Moon Collective and the Cultivating Magic podcast. And we vended. As we were setting up, a very pleasant young man drove by and cussed us and called us names and did all this stuff. And there were some other people, just a few, that showed up to protest. But what I saw was so many families showed up, and so many. What really touched me was the dads. The dads that looked like they had just gotten off work from the plant, showing up with their kids, showing up with their pride flags painted on their cheeks to support their children. And I get just teary right now thinking about that beautiful thing. To see a dad who, if you just looked at him and judged a book by its cover, you might say, oh no, he doesn't need to be here. But he's there with his kids, and he's there supporting them, and he's talking to them in a loving voice, and he's treating them with kindness and respect. And, you know, if that guy can do it, you know, other people can too. But I was just so blown away by the number of dads that showed up to support their kids at this event. I was also blown away by just the sheer number of people that turned out. You know, I was a little worried after what happened at Enchanted. I was a little worried. And we did have some protesters. There was a couple of people out there, you know, yelling at people as they were walking to their car, and yelling at women and how they were dressed and all that stuff. But we far outnumbered them. And for a little bitty town in a pretty conservative area of the state, I was really proud. There were probably a couple of hundred people, and this event got planned in like a week. So there was very little time to get people engaged, but we did it, y'all. They showed up, and I was so tickled, and I was so proud. It was so hot, y'all. It was so hot. We've had, like, for the last week, excessive heat warnings, which means our heat index is like in the teens. Now remember, the heat index, here's your little science moment. The heat index is a combination of the temperature plus the humidity. So we've been running in the upper 90s, but the humidity has been high. So the temperature, what it feels like temperature, has been running at about 110, 112. It has been apocalyptically hot outside. So, you know, we had an excessive heat warning, but I took plenty of water, took plenty of bottled water, you know, did all that. Then the next day, because I got home from that at 11:30 at night, and then Baxter decided to go on safari, and I had to chase him around the yard. The next day was Paws in the Park, which is an event for Needy Paws, which is one of our local no-kill shelters. And they do very good work. They rehome. They have a lot of hound dogs, which was very touching to me because I love a hound dog. I love a hound dog, y'all. Didn't bring home any. No, I did not. But they had an event at a local park. They had a free microchip clinic, and then they had a puppy pageant. And so I decided I would go and support the event. One of the organizers is the same person who organizes the Enchanted events. So I had seen it on her page, and I just thought it would be fun. So my friend Ruby and I went to that, and we vended. I vended, and then she did readings, and had a lot of fun. I was really happy to see how many people turned out for that, even though it was super hot, y'all. I was out there from 7 a.m. until 4 p.m. And I will tell you, by the time 4 p.m. rolled around and I was loading my vehicle, I was getting sick. It was hot. And I drank water, and I ate chips, and I ate plenty of salt, and I did all the things. But it was just very hot. But it was a beautiful day. A couple of my friends showed up at good times and brought me Diet Cokes, which was nice. It's a good friend that calls you up and goes, hey, can I bring you a drink? And I'm like, you bet. So, sorry, I'm working on a bead set here while I'm talking to y'all. But it was really sweet. And so I'm really enjoying vending with my magical tools and my magical art stuff, which has been really nice. So I'm probably gonna, it's been a nice little side hustle, and it's, you know, helps. Plus, the reason I really decided to do it is if I was going somewhere to present about my book, I thought, well, I might as well try to make a little extra money while I'm there and help pay for the trip. You know, that's all my goal is really to be able just to pay for the trip I'm going on, so that I'm not out of pocket. Because when you do book signing events, different stores do it differently. Most of the stores want to cut, and so that's fine, which is perfectly fair because they're the ones handling the advertising and all that stuff. But you know, you've got your gas and your food and if you stay in a hotel, and I'm trying to, on a lot of these trips, find places where people I know that I can stay with, you know, to save a little bit of money. But some of these bigger conferences, you know, you want to stay in the conference hotel because that's where all the networking and where all the magic happens, right? But, you know, they're not cheap. So I've been trying to do some vending at these events to help pay for just going to them, which it's worked out pretty well. I have been able to sell quite a few books. I appreciate everybody that's bought one. But I've been able to sell quite a few books. I'm supposed to have a book signing this week in Fayetteville, Arkansas. I'm trying to focus on metaphysical shops or women-owned shops, things of that nature, because I think that's super important to support those things. So if you know of any shops in your area that might be interested in having me come do a book signing, you know, send me a message on Instagram or on Facebook or whatever, and give me a heads up, because I would love to come. I'm pretty well booked out for this year. That sounds so bougie. Oh my God. But I'm pretty well booked out for this year, but we'll start again in the springtime or in the late winter and start trying to hit up some events. I'll put up, or if you follow my author page, I have a list of where I'm going to be appearing. Or if you go to my Llewellyn page, there's a list of where I'm going to be for like the next month or something like that. But anyway, so yeah, that's been a lot of fun. I've been enjoying getting out and meeting people, and I'm excited about the second book. I've got a little bit done on it. I'm going to start cracking down on it pretty seriously. Decided July 1st, which is tomorrow, I'm going to start cracking down on it pretty seriously. But yeah, so that's what's been going on. Life has been great. I've gotten to travel. Joel went with me to Florida, and we had a great time. We're headed to Atlanta at the end of July, and then we'll be at Nashville Pagan Pride the beginning of October. So if you're in any of those areas, come out and say hi. I'd love to see y'all's faces. But anyway, so that's pretty much what's going on with me. I'm just, you know, doing the things and enjoying the vending and enjoying making, you know, challenging myself to make things out of bones in interesting and new ways. I've really enjoyed doing the pyrography. Again, if you follow my socials, you can see all of that. I don't like to put it on here because I'm not trying to sell anything. And so if y'all want to look at it, you can go look at it. But I don't want to push it in your face and try to sell stuff. That's not why I'm here. But anyway, so thank y'all for hanging out. I'm going to try to, even if it's just these little catch-up chats, I'm going to try to post more frequently through the summer months and get back in the habit of doing this, because I miss y'all. I miss visiting with you. I miss sharing what's going on with you on the farm and everything. And I know y'all miss seeing Prince Willie. So we'll come back and do a few final thoughts. Okay, so the thing that I wanted to share with you was a post I saw on Facebook, And it was by an author named Octavia Butler. And I had heard of Octavia Butler, but I wanted to go back and refresh my memory on who they were. Octavia Butler was a science fiction author and was a multiple recipient of the Hugo and Nebula Awards, which are awards for excellence in science fiction writing, and became the first science fiction writer ever to receive the MacArthur Fellowship. Octavia wrote as an outlet for her shyness. She was raised by a single mother. She was active she attended community college during the Black Power movement in California. She lived in California, in Pasadena. And she also found out through a local writer's workshop that she could attend a workshop called the Clarion Workshop about science fiction writing. So she became a very well-known author in the community, and she was very vocal. She was very prolific, and ended up relocating to Washington. But she started writing at a very young age, but she started typing because she asked for a typewriter as a gift when she was 10 years old. And even though her mother didn't really understand what she was doing, she went ahead and pursued her writing. So, unfortunately, she died very young. She died only at 58 years old, possibly of a stroke. There's some confusion about what happened there, but a very, very prolific writer. She incorporated social justice themes in a lot of her writing. If you read about what her writing speaks to, there's a lot of social justice and a lot of awareness and a lot of talking about the experience of marginalized communities in her books. So I saw this quote, and it really struck home with me, because I am terrified of what's going to happen with this election, y'all. I don't understand what is happening with the situation with the Republican nominees. Have they had a convention? I don't understand what's happening. All I know is this. If it goes like it did in 2016, it is going to be 20,000 times worse than what happened. All the things we lost in 2016 are going to look like a picnic compared to what will happen if that person gets back in office. And I'm not even going to put the energy into saying his name, because he's a waste of skin, in my opinion. There, I said it. But anyway, so this is an interesting quote that I found that I wanted to share with you. This is by Octavia Butler, and it's from The Parable of Talents, which is Earthseed number 2. Choose your leaders with wisdom and forethought. To be led by a coward is to be controlled by all that the coward fears. To be led by a fool is to be led by the opportunist who control the fool. To be led by a thief is to offer up your most precious treasures to be stolen. To be led by a liar is to ask to be told lies. And to be led by a tyrant is to sell yourself and those you love into slavery. So I really want people to think about this, okay? I know there's a lot of conversation going on about we need 3 parties, we need this, we need that. We got to play the hand we're dealt, y'all. We got to play the hand we're dealt. And if people want to get on their high horse, that's fine. But at the end of the day, we got to play the hand we're dealt. And I'm just saying, we got to vote like Sarah from Notorious Needles, Sal, says we got to vote to think about those people who stand to be destroyed if the election goes in a bad direction. So please get out and vote, become active in your area, talk to people, try to persuade them to understand our point of view. I believe that most people are reasonable. They just have been fed sold a bill of goods, fed a line, whatever you want to call it. I think that most people want to be empathetic and kind and embrace diversity. But like Tractor Supply, what the crap, Tractor Supply? I'll never go in there again. Okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go look it up. Go look up Project 2025. Y'all, we got to vote because people's lives depend on this. People's lives. Yes, I don't like high taxes, but that doesn't matter to me. I will pay the taxes if it means that these marginalized communities are safe, if it means that women's rights don't further get eroded in this country. Y'all, we got to get out and do stuff, okay? That's my final thought. I love y'all. I'm glad to see y'all. Come out and see me if you're in my area. Until I see y'all again, be good to each other and take care of each other. And whoa, fizzy. Peace out, y'all. Bye.